the real wargamer, at the wargaming table here with Rebel Yell, Small Unit Tactics of the American Civil War. I'm going to read a bit here, several paragraphs from the introduction. I do think it's interesting and a good overview. So this is not the whole introduction, but this is probably the last 60-70% of the introduction. One of the most difficult problems faced by the Civil War tactician was the problem of approach, or how to maneuver a unit to an objective while keeping casualties and disorganization to a minimum. A commander who did not pay heed to the destructiveness of modern weaponry would find his formation severely damaged as far as 300 yards from the enemy. Rebel Yell addresses this problem. Within restrictions, defending units may fire at the enemy as he advances. Like a real-life commander, a player can no longer be sure that when he initiates an advance, his units will reach their objective. Players may find that even one or two companies that are standing to fire will be difficult to dislodge by a frontal assault. Admittedly, Rebel Yell is a complex design that is not intended for the novice gamer. The rules make provisions for such factors as infantry line sub-formations, standing to maneuver, standing to fire, skirmishers and cover, volley effects, leader quality, morale, and regimental flags. There are also extensive cavalry and artillery rules. Play 8 cards contain detailed charts and tables that encapsulate much of the information in the rules. The rules have been divided into 8, actually I counted 7, modules. A scenario has been designated to illustrate the play of each of these modules. It is strongly recommended that players play each scenario in sequence before proceeding further into the rules. This structure keeps memorization at a minimum and allows for the painless addition of detail later on. The scenarios simulate the battles of Bronner's Farm from Second Bull Run, White Oak Swamp from the 7 Days, Gordon's Assault from the Wilderness, Belmont, Grant's First Engagement, Cemetery Hill, Gettysburg, Shiloh Church from Pittsburgh Landing, and Bryce's Crossroads, a wild double envelopment staged by Nathan Bedford Forrest. There is also a complete battle game for a cause not their own, with its own map, rules, and specific counters. Once the players have learned all the rules, or even before, they can design their own scenarios. The game includes 6 geomorphic maps that can be aligned in a variety of ways, allowing players to recreate virtually any Civil War engagement. Although it is an excellent multiplayer game, Rebel Yell has been designed with the solitaire player especially in mind. Likewise, it has been designed to be played in a physically limited area. Rebel Yell is big only in the sense that it is detailed. Rebel Yell presents a thorough system of Civil War small unit tactics. Okay, a few more comments. This game, it definitely has tall stacks, and tall stacks for me, I would say, is probably regularly, if in a game I'm seeing regularly stacks of more than 3 units in a hex, I call that tall stacks. And I was wondering why this isn't bothering me. I think it doesn't bother me because while these are tall stacks, as you can see here, things are still, oddly enough, fast moving. So things are changing, again, at a fairly regular pace. I think that's what makes the stacks not that annoying. And still, as I play more and as I peek ahead into later modules, the rules in later modules, I'm definitely struck again more and more with how similar this is just in general design philosophy or something like that with the Death Ride series. And I don't know, must be something about these types of games that I really like. So module 2 scenario here, still in turn 4. This is a 10-turn scenario, so we're actually well into it. Now, this is it's been a few days since I played, but the game turn segment and the game displays and tracks tells me that it is P1 action segment. So that's union. My reminder key here. It's a union action phase, and I think the first thing that I need to take a look at is right here. So I do think the rule is if a unit is not adjacent to or stacked with its regimental flag, it is out of command. So I'm going to mark this stack right here, and I think the first part of this segment here is going to be to figure out what I should be doing and what I can do, and then how I do that with that stack right there, because I shorten the union lines here. That unit's regimental flag, oh, they're routed, is back up. There it is. So yeah, we're going to have some rallying back here. The whole line back here has advanced fire markers on it, which means that if they do fire, they're all at a penalty. But those will all be removed at the end of this friendly player segment. So I think I'll start at the very beginning. Here we have this. So there's a unit not stacked with or adjacent to its flag is out of command control. I don't see any exceptions, and it's interesting, I have not seen yet any type of line extension provision in these rules. So for example, here's the regimental flag, so that's the regimental line there. You don't really want to do more. This is a regimental line here, this is a regimental line, because again, we're talking stacked with or adjacent to that flag. So basically that means that you're keeping your regiments compacted to about three hexes if you're online. Okay. I'm going to leave that one marked no command. So then the next thing is they are in an EZOC. This disrupted so this disrupted Confederate stack here is disrupted. Yeah, disrupted units. I guess that's the significance of the rule. Disrupted units still have a ZOC. So I'm assuming that they are. So I'm assuming that these Union out of command units are starting this segment in an enemy ZOC. So units that are out of command control, but that had begun the segment in an EZOC or MFZ, I guess they're in both. They're in both an EZOC and an MFZ, are not obligated to move out of it. They may remain in that EZOC or MFZ. So just to go over that, I still want to pull back because he's completely exposed there, but I guess there is no requirement. I think at least I'd want to move back to this hex here at least. All right. So I think, the penalties of being out of command control here, they can't assault, they cannot enter an EZOC, but they're starting in an EZOC, doesn't matter. They may not enter an MFZ, they're starting in an MFZ, but they can't enter one. So what that means is they can't enter these two hexes, because these two hexes are MFZ and EZOCs. That's what that means. Okay. Isn't that interesting? So later on, when I have units with an MFZ of more than one hex, if it's two hexes, so if this stacks MFZ exerted into that hex, then kind of the pathway to the rear of the Union units would be, so to speak, cut off. Okay, so how do they move away, and what's going to happen? I guess they want to turn around. Behind them is just a crest. Yeah, I don't think that's anything too significant. I don't think. Crest. Actually, it's only +1, and actually I don't think I'm even supposed to be playing with crests at this level 2 or module 2 rules. Actually, I'll do that. I'm going to ignore the crest for now. It's only +1 anyways. but I don't think I'm supposed to be paying attention to those yet. I don't think those have been added yet. So really they just want to move back 1 hex, but that means they have to turn around, move back, and turn around again, and they're going to be doing that activity in this hex is within both MFZ and EZOC. Okay, so I guess this is all significant. I mean, other than the limitations that I listed, and there's one more, the morale is reduced by 1, which is going to be relevant here. All right, I'll talk through this anyways. Okay, so despite all those, or except for all of those limitations, or penalties, actually, I guess is a better way to look at it, a unit can otherwise conduct actions. So could it rally? Now, could rally in place, and it would be -1 for being out of command. Huh. See, because I remembered they're disrupted. They are okay, so actually I would be testing against the top unit, which hasn't 1 O-hit 2. Yeah. So actually his morale would be -2. -1 for the O-hit, -1 again for being out of command. Okay, so maybe he does not rally. So he rallies but does not move back. Which actually I guess he could change facing. Oh, that's the other thing. I think the first facing change is free anyways, if I remember correctly. Wow. I've forgotten a few things. I do think. And changing facing alone does not constitute movement. Oh, I know what it is. All right, let's go through this. Instead of trying to rally in place. Yeah, because then he's still out of command. So I'm going to prioritize getting back into command control over rallying. Okay. Now I remember what I've thought of before is I don't know why being disrupted doesn't penalize movement, but it still doesn't appear to do that. Okay, so I know what it is. So the facing change is not movement, and so it doesn't do anything. However, when I turn around like that, which I guess that's so weird, that alone doesn't do anything. That doesn't generate anything, but maybe it all works out with this exploded game turn sequence. Now when he tries to move out, because he wants to move back 1, that would be en passant fire. That would be en passant fire from these disrupted guys. So the question is, man, I've already forgotten, can disrupted units do en passant fire? I cannot remember. Disrupted units do have an MFZ. That's important. They're trying to leave an MFZ there. I cannot remember. I guess. Yeah. And it is flanked. A unit that reverses its facing before it moves is considered to be flanked for en passant fire. Oh, I know what. They can shoot. They just have to, now I remember, they just have the -3 line penalty for being disrupted. That's what it is. Okay, so let's do en passant fire. See, I'll figure this all out first. By the way, I remembered after spreading out all the stuff over here, I remembered that stacking matters, so I'm not entirely certain I got my Confederate stack in order here, but stacking matters, so I got to be careful about that. I have my little markers here to remind me, oriented properly. Basically, it's 11 fire factors for, 11 fire factors for the Confederates with a net -1. That's +1 for target in the clear, +1 for target flanked, -3 for firing unit disrupted for a net -1. And they rolled a 7. Oh, so that's -1 is not a die roll modifier, it's a line modifier. So we're down to we go from the 10 to 11 line down to the 8-9 line. And on the 8-9 line, a die roll of 7 is a no effect. So actually, the Union are going to get away, actually. So I will move them back, and they are good. So I think that is just one en passant fire option here for the Confederates. All right, everything's put back together there. The no command marker I don't think is going to come off until I check for command control again in the next friendly action phase. Yes. Yeah. So moving on, I thought I wanted to, so this stack over here on the far left flank is routed, has the advanced fire marker, it has its regimental flag, but the top unit also has 2 O hits. And so if I try to rally, that's a rally attempt, and I think that I apply all the morale modifiers. So in this scenario, all the Union forces happen to have a morale, not happen to, they're assigned a morale of 5, all of them. All of the Confederate units have a morale of 6 assigned, all the Union units have a 5. So you start with a base 5, you're going to subtract 1 per O hit. Yeah, that's so its morale is already down to a 3. Is that right? It's already down to 3. Then we're going to subtract oh, isn't that interesting? Looks like there is no, I just assumed there was additional penalty for being routed. Maybe there isn't. So there's +1 for being stacked with the flag. So actually the modified morale is 4, which actually is a 50-50 chance. But let's see. I really like this game, and yet I'm still forgetting stuff. Rally. What happens if they fail? Yeah, see, they retreat 3 hexes. Routed units that fail their rally check retreat 3 hexes. Isn't that interesting that I'm encouraged to... Okay, that's the question I was getting at. If I'm being encouraged to not rally, because if I fail my rally attempt, I have to move back 3 hexes, then why don't I try to, why don't I take the segment, oh yeah, the bottom unit at least is 1 better. So what? Okay, so I'm going to go through with this. Why don't I try to... Oh, wait a minute. What am I saying? I think they automatically rally because they're with their regimental flag. I guess that would make all this moot point. A routed or disrupted unit or stack that is carrying its flag automatically rallies. But it still counts as an action, so of course. Alright, so I guess... Alright, I guess it was a moot point. But if they weren't stacked with their... I'm doing this because they're stacked with their flag there. So they automatically rally here. But why wouldn't I take the turn to adjust the order? I'm taking time, of course, sure, but... I'm going to check on changing the stack order there. Yeah, that's what I find interesting. It looks like, I mean, you can adjust stack order once per action segment. Huh. Which, by the way, well, that doesn't seem to be an action either. So is it once per action? So could I have... Well, actually, I'm going to adjust it anyways. I'm going to move... And this is not an action. I'm adjusting the stack order. I'm putting the unit with 1 O hit on top instead of the 2 O hit unit. Sorry about that horrible blurry mess. Working too hard on these counters. I guess that's I guess you could say it's free action. So then, I'm still a little fuzzy on the significance of stacking order and everything. I guess they're done, so I'm going to take these off as I go. Here, oh, they're routed too. Okay, so they're routed. They do not have, ooh, they have 2 hits too. Wow, these guys have taken a beating. It's funny, I don't remember that. Oh, they're in the same exact situation, minus the regimental flag. So I'm going to do this. As far as I can tell, again, I guess I can change the order. And then I will It's funny that you're not required to roll for routing, but at least not that I saw. Well, I'm going to do it. So I'm going to try to rally. This does not seem like a good idea. Oh, okay. Rolled a 1, so they did. Oh, do they rally good or do they rally to? Nah, they must rally to good. It recovers organization. Okay, so I guess it's good order. And then that can come off now because he's done. I wish stacking order in the hexes meant something more specific. I'm going to... Oh, wait a minute. See, here's the thing of, do you continue holding up the fire, keeping up the fire, even with the -2 advanced fire marker penalty, because the targets are because the enemy there is disrupted. It almost seems like that is worth it. These guys are good order though, but here, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? The advanced fire markers are going to come off anyways. I think I'm going to conduct the fire. Oh, I know what. There is no penalty yet. So just to finish this off, and this will also finish off the P1 action segment, the Union action segment. They went ahead and fired. They all had the penalty of -2 for advanced fire marker, which was significant. They wind up getting an O result here because they fired on the disrupted Confederates there, and when a disrupted unit receives a D result, it is actually treated as 1 O result instead. So they're still disrupted, and the top unit there took an O hit. So that does seem to be significant to keep up the fire. And I do not see right away what real penalty there is other than the -2 line modifier.